You're with Bruce Burnett, coach of the Navy wrestling team here at the EIWAs, and we're going to start talking international wrestling first. Obviously, as national coach at USA Wrestling, you coached in an Olympic Games a number of times, also coached at the World Championship level. Some of the best wrestlers of all time you were able to work with here with the U.S. program. I mean, what was your first thought when you heard in the news on some random Tuesday that the IOC Executive Board recommended wrestling not be in the Olympic program?
Well, the first thing I thought was, what did those guys eat that morning? Because the reality of it is, wrestling needs to be there. It's the oldest sport, and it will be back. I'm confident of that. And but the reality of it is, we're going to have to earn that right to be back in that spot, and it's going to happen. The community's rallied, and but I was in shock. I mean, total shock. It's a great sport, and it's been around for thousands and thousands of years, and the reality of it is it needs to be in the Olympic Games.
Now, you've coached in all kinds of places, traveled the world. I mean, did the IOC miss the point that wrestling really is a universal sport, something that's contested everywhere? It gives a lot of countries opportunities to be part of the Olympic Games. I mean, as the coach of the U.S. team, which is one of the strong teams, you ran into a whole lot of wrestlers from all over the world that were very good at this sport.
That's correct. You can go to South America, North America, Asia. The whole world wrestles, and there's good wrestlers on every continent and every country, and so you have to be prepared on every level. I would be interested to count the number of medals that are spread out over the world in the sport of wrestling compared to a lot of the other sports, equestrian, pentathlon. I'd like to see the comparisons of those on a medal count for the Olympic Games. The IOC missed that part of it. And I think they're going to rectify it. I truly do, but we can't sit idly by and see it happen. We've got to make it happen.
The United States, we love wrestling here. I mean, it's a real popular sport in the colleges and high schools, and you know, we do real well at the Olympics in wrestling. But have you've been to some countries where wrestling's their number one sport? I mean, talk a little bit about being in that environment.
Well, we've been blessed. I've been blessed with the opportunity to be in Iran and see the passion that they have for their wrestlers and the sport of wrestling in Russia and Japan and China. I mean, I've seen it on all levels, and it's an exciting thing to see. And I would say, just look at the World Cup this past year when Akhmadjidov was at the event, and you know, that's a world event. And it was on center stage in the world, and it's a sport for the world.
Let's talk a little bit about your Navy team going in second in the final day here at EIWAs. Your thoughts about the kids' performance, and then what kind of things are you hoping to get done today for your athletes?
Well, our scenarios, we've got a very balanced team. We had no number one seeds. We had one number two. From there, we go down to number 4, 5, 6, 7. And so we had to upset some people to get to the point where we're at right now. That's what we need to continue to do. Seeding's just somebody else's opinion, actually. And so every time you step on the mat, you have an opportunity to prove yourself. And this is a very tough tournament. The EIWA is a very tough tournament. And so you have to be prepared every match, every time you step on the mat. And that's what we preach to the kids, and they've come out and competed hard.
You have a possibility for possibly 3 champs. I mean, going in, would that be something that you would have said, hey, that would be great to get a few gold medals in addition to qualifiers?
Well, no question about it. Winning an EIWA championship is a big event because the conference is so tough. And so, you know, that's what we always aspire to. Our goals for the program have never changed. Graduate first, be an NCAA champion, be an NCAA All-American, be an EIWA champion. And number 5 on the list is be a nationally recognized program, be in the top 25 every year. And that's the goals of the program, and that's what we aspire to do. And the kids buy into that and try to make it happen.
You got guys in the finals that weren't seated in the top 2. I mean, those examples of how the kids stepped up this week for you?
Exactly. You know, preparation and hard work, it does pay off. And so no matter what anybody says, when you step on the mat, you have an opportunity to win.
Outstanding. Thanks so much for your time, Bruce.
Always
we'll probably catch up with you at the end, but, you know, wanted to make sure we talked a little Olympics, too.
Okay.
Excellent.